Hi everyone, Moj here from Push. Gonna give you some quick tips, or maybe even a recap if you've seen one of our study skills and revision sessions. Gonna give you some tips on maximizing performance on the day of an exam. Firstly, it starts the night before. You need to get good sleep. Don't be the guy who rocks up at the exam hall 15 minutes before your GCSE or A-level or BTEC assessment, who's got a 2-litre can of Red Bull, who's going, oh mate, yeah, I haven't slept all night, and I'm just gonna go for it. Look at my eyes, yeah, I've got this. Ridiculous. You will recall information in your head 4 times worse than if you got a good night's sleep, because that's all it's about. It's about recall. Your brain does 2 things. You store stuff in there. That's a skill. You need to be able to absorb it, not just into your short-term memory, it's about locking it into your long-term memory. But once you've stored it in there, you need to recall it. Don't call it revision or studying, it sounds boring, okay? What you're doing is you're recalling information. You're shooting a little electricity in your brain to a neuron where there's a memory stored, and it's not just about recalling it, it's about recalling it at the right time under pressure, which is what we're talking about here, because on the exam day it's under pressure. Firstly, the night before, get good sleep. You're going to be nervous, try and do some mindfulness. There's loads of apps, there's little YouTube videos on mindfulness. Mindfulness means just being completely focused in the moment and not being judgmental of how you feel, just being aware of how you feel. You can do some mindfulness the night before. You shouldn't even look at your revision notes the night before. I would say only if you really feel you have to, before bed, just look at those key things, maybe some key notes, little bullet points of the things which you think are still, you're not quite sure they've gone in yet. But the rest of it, you've tested yourself on it in the months before, it's gone in. And you're going to be able to recall that information much more if you are relaxed and you get a good night's sleep. Your brain is doing its own software update overnight. It's deciding, it's locking in long-term memories, it's strengthening the links to them, and it's also helping flush out of your brain stress, nerves. You'd be surprised how much activities there is in your brain overnight. So if you get a really good night's sleep the night before, give your brain the best possible chance of being as slick as possible on the day. So get a good night's sleep. The next morning, if you want to, first thing you do when you wake up, maybe look at those notes again, just so that there's a few things you're not sure you're going to remember for the exam. Just look at them when you wake up, then don't look at anything else for the rest of the morning. Let's say it's a morning exam. What are you going to do next? Well, get there in good time. Get there in as much time as possible. Can you imagine how flustered you're going to be and how your mind's not going to be fully focused on the exam if you get there late? Or if you rush into the exam hall, or bursting through the door and annoying everyone, just as they say, turn your papers over now. So get there in good time. Bring some water, plenty of water. So good for the body. We literally came from water. Human beings, we have evolved from crawling out of the sea as a blob. We're like something like 90% water anyway. Get a lot of water. Not too much you need to have a pee. Make sure you've got water before you go into the exam and when you go into the exam. Next one is any notes you're allowed to take in for certain exams. Make sure that you've got them there, clear as crystal. They might need to check them as well. Obviously don't take any smart kind of watches in, smartphones. You shouldn't need to anyway. Feel confident that you shouldn't need to think about these things. You shouldn't even be thinking about things like cheating, guys, come on, because you're only cheating yourself. And you've got your water, you've got your notes, you feel well rested when you get there as well. You should be ready. When they say, turn your paper over now, first 5 minutes, and this is why you should always clearly be able to see a clock, or take in an actual analog watch, these old school things, it's fine. Take these in. I used to have one of these, put it right on the table there. So you can see the time so clearly right next to your paper. I said my water and my watch. There. Exams are about time management, it's about time efficiency and recalling things under pressure. So have your watch there. First 5 minutes, don't even start writing anything, just read the whole paper through. Work out how many pages you've got. If you've got a 10-page exam and you've got an hour to do it, that's 6 minutes per page. Yeah, actually, take a bit of time off, 5 minutes per page. Give yourself 5 minutes a page, because you've got that time at the start and you might want to leave 5 minutes at the very end to check things through. I used to work out in the first 5 minutes, okay, look at the bigger picture of the whole exam paper. Don't just try and do each page as it comes along, because you might suddenly realize you've only got 20 minutes left and you're only halfway through. So that first 5 minutes, breathe, okay? 5 seconds in through the nose, hold for 5 seconds, out through the mouth. So do that in the first 5 minutes. You should be doing it in the exam hall beforehand. And then check the whole paper, work out basic maths, how much time you have per page, stick to it. Stick to that time. Even if you haven't finished that page yet, move on to the next page. Keep moving on, because then you've given yourself that 5 to 10 minutes in your time plan for the end. The end is when you come back, that final 10 minutes, that is when you come back and you go through any gaps you still have in the paper, because you know you've got the majority of it down. Instead of rushing and going, oh my God, I've not given myself time, I've now got 2 minutes to do the last 2 pages. So give yourself that time. It's all about, in the exam, first 5 minutes is crucial. Time manage everything and be brave enough to move on when you're not finished with something if you feel you've reached your time limit, because you can come back and do that 10 minutes. 10 minutes at the end as well is for checking spelling, rereading questions, checking if you want to scribble something out, re-answer something. And guys, that is my tips. Get good sleep, water, breathe as well, notes, watch, and time management, and stick to it, and you'll be fine.